It's hard, Dr. Leonard Jacobs said when she was asked what appeals to her about teaching special education children. She gets bored easily, she said, but in her 56 years of teaching special education or as a certified special education teacher, she has never once been bored. She she was interviewed a couple years ago by the University of Maryland because she was an alumni there. She started her education at the University of Maryland of Education as a major in history, and she started as a minor in mathematics, but then switched to a new field that was just starting with a teacher there whose name was Dr. Hebler, and she was the first person to start a special education minor at the University of Maryland. So whenever Dr. J decided that she didn't think mathematics was going to be the way she should go, she went to the special education department. After that, she left and went to teaching in Baltimore County, and there she taught for 2 years before she went back to the University of Maryland College of Education, where she went for her master's and her doctorate degrees. While she was there, she was again approached by the same faculty member. Her name again was Jean Hebler, and she talked Dr. J into getting a certified as an administrator. Whenever she got certified as an administrator, in the special education field, that directly led her to becoming the director of special education for Anne Arundel County. She stayed at this position at Anne Arundel County until she went to the assistant state superintendent for the Maryland State Department of Education. She was there for 3 years. During this time, she started figuring out that it was very difficult for children in the special needs world, education world. There were a lot of children who were being looked over or were putting on hold or waiting lines, I guess you would call it, um, in order for them to be able to get the accommodations they needed. Whenever Dr. J started realizing this, she started spending a lot of more time looking into it, and she was eventually told by the president of the Maryland State Board of Education that she should leave the administration at the Maryland State Department of Education and go be an advocate for children. And what she started doing is she started teaching parents. And there was, in 1979, she left the board and started training parents on what their rights were for their children. And there was a new legislation called Education of All Handicapped Children, EHA, that governed special education. This allowed allowed children to get the accommodations they needed, but she started helping parents in Maryland learn what their options were. So many parents do not know what their options are, and that really helped her along, especially whenever she decided that there needed to be a school for children with special needs. She had two parents in 1982 give her $500 from each parent, and they told her they wanted her to go and start a school for special needs children. Now, of course, she sent it back to them because she didn't have enough financial backing at that time to start a school. I mean, you need quite a bit more funds to start an educational institution than $1,000. But the parents both sent back the funds that she had sent them, they sent it back and said, I understand that you don't have enough money right now, but if we return this money back to you, then we know that you will start a school. And she did. I forgot my papers. Sorry, I forgot my paper. So I wanted to show you a picture of Dr. J. So this is Dr. J. And these are the two dogs that we have at the two harbor schools. They visit both schools. So this is Candy over here. And this is Snap. And they're two Cocker Spaniels, and they go out throughout the school just walking around, and they truly have the run of the school. And all of the students love them. But this is Dr. J. She is amazing. And she started her school with 4 children. This is another picture of her. And this is where they had an activities day, and this is one of the children that is at school there. And as you can see, this is a bouncy house that they had out there. And this is one of the murals that line the hallways at their school. And their school is beautiful. But anyway, she started the school with 4 children and 1 teacher in 1982 in Annapolis. Now the school has been open for 38 years. There's approximately 350 to 400 students between the two schools. The children range from age 6 to age 21. They're pulled from 16 different school systems throughout Maryland and Washington, D.C. In 2017, a survey found that 92% of Harbor School graduates are either in post-secondary education, are employed, or a combination of both. This illustrates how this dream that Dr. J had has come to fruition and continues to go every day. It's amazing to watch the people there. Whenever Dr. J hires teachers, this is just one example, her quote whenever she was talking, again, in this aspect, she was talking to the University of Maryland, and she told them that, she looks for passion in her special education teachers, because she knows that passion is something that they have to have, but she can teach them technical skills, but she cannot teach them the passion that they need. So if they don't have it, she doesn't hire them. In 2017, she was also brought back onto the board of the Maryland Association of Non-Public Special Education Facilities as a treasurer. During the years, she has filled many roles on this board, including the president. So in July of this year, whenever most schools were not in school, the Harbor School was. So I wanted to say one more thing, and since I'm already over my time, as a parent to a child who is at Harbor School, whenever we walked into the school, the one thing that we noticed is that everything was so calming and non-intimidating. Like, the walls were calm, children's art was everywhere, the children were nice and wonderful. And the one thing that we knew right off was that this was going to be a place where the students were allowed to learn the way they are able to learn. And that is one thing that Dr. J has given all of the students and the parents in her lives, past, present, and future. And we will all be indebted to her for that.